Okay, guys, it's me again, Arlene J. Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk, also your favorite self wealth mentor, now CEO and founder of Mediators Medium, soon to be your favorite civil and family and divorce court mediator. Now, I don't know what's going on with me today. I ended my second video too soon. The first time was a mistake, the second one was too soon. Now, I want to get into the triumph part of all of this, right? Because it's not all doom and gloom. But I want to say this, that if you're here for the lesson in life, this smear campaign should have taught you some things, and that you can add that to your personal development or self development bucket. All right. We don't go through anything in vain around these parts. I don't know about you, but around here, we don't go through everything in vain. So after you've, done everything that I've mentioned in the first two videos, which is extremely important because that would position you to be above the fray, although the system is set to keep you in the middle of the fray, right? You don't have to be of the fray, in the middle of the fray. Where people are trying to position you is not where we're going to allow ourselves to be, right? Our greatest strategy has to always be positioning us well and positioning us in places and in areas and around people that have our best interests at heart, because we have our own best interests at heart. It's not about what they want for you and for us. It's about what we want for us. Okay. It's important. I know, it's easier said than done. And when a smear campaign is going against you, there's a lot of emotions and thoughts that we go through, and not all of it is positive, and that's okay because we're human. But still in all, we still need to keep right here what's important for those of us who know what our purpose is, because that's actually what drives us. We are here on assignment, and some of those people are here on assignment as well, right? We don't know what God they pray to. You know what God you pray to. I know what God I pray to. But, just because when people are undermining you and trying to stop you from doing what you're doing, understand that they also may be on assignment, and their assignment is to stop you from doing what you're doing. And so I think it should be very clear what entity they work for, right? So let's be clear, especially if you're not doing anything to harm other people. But if you're a collaborative person, which means you're not stepping on anyone's toes, and what you do create resolve towards the whole, you're not the problem. The problem is that you have people who, let's just say, your solution goes against what they are. If you're dealing with a smear campaign, or you're dealing with someone that is a malignant narcissist, or they have a dark triad personality, or they're a psychopath, their aim is to have as many victims as possible, because they need victims and energetic supply. But if your solution is to empower people and stop people from being supply to toxic and abusive people, you are a direct problem for them, because you are the type of person that can stop, so they see it, their happiness, if their happiness is dependent on someone else's unhappiness. And if their happiness is dependent on them being the reason why someone else is unhappy. So it's imperative that we know all of these things. Naivete, there's no room for naivete in this world, right? The world is not what we were taught that it is. We've been lied to. So at this time, the smear campaign should make things extremely clear for you if you are seeing the world and everything that you go through with the lens to learn, right? So now, how we triumph and bounce back from this smear campaign after doing all of that, after building in silence, after not posting your wins. understand that positioning yourself to be in power is extremely important. Not because you want to be in power and, not because you want to brag and flaunt your position, but this should be an ode to you to ensure that this type of thing never happens to you again. And it is also to ensure that these types of things are not going to be the reason why you're not able to fulfill the purpose that you are here to fulfill. So we bounce back by moving in silence, by building in silence, and ensuring that everything we build is strong and solid, ensuring that the people that we build with moving forward are strong and solid, being sure that you are in alignment with people who have similar ideologies, similar principles, similar moral codes to you. Why that is important is because community has been used for far too long without understanding that you cannot have community with people who do not have the same ideologies, principles, or moral code as you. Now, no two people are alike. We understand that. But oftentimes we look at people because of we like them. They're the same race as us. They come from, we may have went to the same high school or the same college or the same certificate program, whatever that is, where these people. It doesn't mean that you are in alignment when it comes to principles, when it comes to integrity, when it comes to morals, human beings, society, right? And that is extremely important. So if you're attempting to build a community with people who have different principles than you, different reasoning as to why they do what they do. And when I say different reasoning, we all, many of us have different, but again, this goes back to integrity, principles, morals, these things. So when a person's moral code is not in alignment with yours, and it is of a different frequency, you cannot build a community with people like that. So this smear campaign should have also taught you that, as to have a tighter grip on who you're building community with. If you build community with people that have the same principle or moral code than you, your differences and conflict can easily be resolved. Conflict is not negative, right? Conflict just means that you have two or more people that have different perspectives. And because of that, somewhere along the line, there continues to be a misfire and you all cannot get on the same page. However, there's a way and a link to where you all can get on the same page once you have the same or similar principles and moral codes, right? Now that we have that out of the way, that's how you build and triumph with people of such magnitude, right? You continue to position yourself in areas that people are not paying attention to because you're building in silence. They don't know what you're focused on and what you're building on. And I guarantee you, the smear campaign that you experience will have you see life in another way. And oftentimes you're going to realize that maybe you were thinking too small. Maybe you were thinking too small. And I've had to say that about myself, that I think that I'm being too modest in what I'm aiming at. Right? There's a Jay-Z quote, there's nothing wrong with my aim, just got to change the target. That's what the smear campaign has taught me. There's nothing wrong with my aim. I just need to change the target. And oftentimes the target is just too low hanging fruit, right? Because what you have to understand is if you are thinking, a lot of times we think we're going to get to where we want to get to, but we're going to take the small steps, right? Right? Because if for you to get to the 10th floor, you just can't start from the first floor and have to go through all the floors. First floor, and each floor has about what, 8 stairs, let's say 5 steps. So you're taking all the steps to get to the next floor. What the smear campaign has taught me is that yes, I need to get to the 10th floor, but I don't need to take all the stairs. Or I may not need to use this stairway corridor to get there. I need to use another corridor. I need to use the elevator. I need to use the escalator. Maybe I need to send someone else up them stairs. Maybe I don't need to be taking the stairs at all. I need to send someone else up them stairs. Keep yourself out of the way. Make sure that you're not in the mix with everyone else that is in the mix, because people are watching you and they may not have the same vision and target that you have. But because that they know that you have big vision and you see things differently, now they're watching you to see if they can predict where you're trying to go. And now if they can predict where you're trying to go, guess what? Now they want to go there. They haven't even thought about it, but now they want to go there, and the goal is to stop you from getting there, because now they want to go there. You've given them something to achieve and strive for. So you don't want to be the person that has been used as a source for other people to figure out what their purpose is, only for them to try to stop you from getting there altogether and to try to get there before you. Meanwhile, has been what you've been working on for God knows however long. So this is how you're going to triumph after a smear campaign. Continue to build in silence. Continue to be about community that you've always been. And then when you start posting and coming back out about the things that you are doing, it is going to be so solid that they will have no way of breaking or ruining or destroying what you have built. And on top of that, remember this is happening simultaneously. And remember what I said in the previous video. You're going to use other platforms and outlets to explain your story and explain what you have been dealing with, not from a place of emotions, but from a place of the things that you have been dealing with that is unacceptable, it is illegal, and it should be not tolerated at all. These are the things that you're going to talk about using the other platform. See, I know many people use social media as just fun, right? Facebook is fun, TikTok is fun, YouTube is fun. However, social media is a tool. So recognize that you have access to tools and use them how you need to use them, because these tools will help keep you safe, right? They will help keep you safe. But a smear campaign is not made to help keep you safe. And oftentimes people are friends with others that are in law enforcement. Next thing you know, you're getting pulled over by cops, you're getting ticketed, you're getting mishandled, violated, and so we want to prevent these things from happening, all because there's someone who's a malignant narcissist who has a problem with someone who naturally has the ability to do amazing things. And remember, you don't know that you're pissing these people off because you're just doing yourself. You're just being who you are. And if you're not neurodivergent and know that you are neurodivergent, do understand that you're going to naturally piss people off because you are not someone that conform to structural norms. We see what the issue is and we know what our skill sets are, and we come into every room, space, environment with an open, positive mind that we are here as part of the solution. And we're happy to be part of the solution. A lot of people are not happy to see you being happy to be part of the solution because they want all of the accolades and all of the attention. And they see themselves as being a part of any community as a way of gaining some attention. So remember, we're talking about narcissistic people and people that are psychopaths. These are the type of people, they need attention and admiration. They have a strong need for attention, a strong need for admiration. They're always going to position themselves in places and spaces to where they can gain that kind of admiration and attention. Now, when we come along and we seem to garner the attention that they think that they deserve, that's going to be a problem, right? So triumphing is understanding who we are, positioning ourselves with people that actually have our best interest at heart. That means that we are going to take more stock and a greater investment in who we are associating ourselves with. Again, this is about accountability. If you paid attention before that smear campaign, did you really take stock about who you associated yourself with? Nope. We went by what these people said that they were. And if we knew them, like I said before, if we knew these people from school or whatever, and they happened to have a good job or, an elected position within the community, we didn't assess their character. And so allowing ourselves to be around maladaptive people was also the problem. So this should have taught us how to be more careful, how to appreciate ourselves more, right? Should have taught us to look within, how to know who we are, appreciate ourselves, how to have people in our lives that's going to appreciate us, how to use the cutoff button real quick when we engage with people and we see that they are not the type of people that we can continue to build with. It is okay to cut them off quick, right? So smear campaign has taught us a lot. To where we'll be very shrewd and astute with who we are and with our boundaries, right? We're standing firmer on our boundaries. I'm not saying that you didn't have boundaries before, right? But when you stand firm on your boundaries, that also means not allowing ourselves to be around maladaptive people. You cannot have strong boundaries and you're the unicorn surrounded by hyenas. They won't respect your boundaries. And so that's what I mean by having firmer boundaries. It's also in who you're allowing to place yourself around so that these people also respect boundaries. You don't have to enforce boundaries with people. It is just going to be reciprocated. That's how we're going to bounce back from a smear campaign and bounce back with power. You take all your wins that you've been working on in silence, all the new people that you've been building with. Now you would have built a community of people that got your back. They call on you for things and you call on them for things and you reciprocate the outcome and build each other. These people know your character for what it is because they know what it's like to work with you, and they like you. That's why they stay in community and in commune with you, and they continue to engage and exchange with you. These are the people that cannot be lied to about you. So when you pop back out and they see you, just note that you have strong relations with people that don't play about you. Just like you continue to not play about the people that you like and that you support and uplift. These will now be people, you will now be connected to people that do the same. So the smear campaign will just tighten us up a bit, tighten us up, make us better for this world. You have to see life in the world the way it is, not the way we want it to be, right? And it's okay to see it, to see things the way we want it to be, because we got to create a utopia for ourselves. But you cannot create a utopia if you don't see the world for exactly what it is, and then deal with it in that way so that you can create what we're trying to create. Okay, so that's how we're going to bounce back from a smear campaign in triumph. Trust me, it works because that's what I've done. Mhm. This whole time, the smear campaign has been going on about me. I went to school, right? I became a mediator. I've also created a nonprofit organization. They don't know what you're going to do. So when I start working my nonprofit, and I start sending children of ACEs, which is children that ACEs is ACE, which stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. When I start sending children of adverse childhood experiences to school and providing them with services and tools and support, these people who try to ruin my character, ruin my business, will have no foot or no opportunity to ruin anything that I've created moving forward aside from them. We don't need to rush to tell people what we're up to try to defend for ourselves. We know that we are respected people. You're going to continue to move in life as the respected person that you know you are, as the person that you know deserve grace. Give yourself that grace as you move along, and waste no time with anyone that shows signs of wanting to bring you down or shows signs that they're part of the smear campaign. Anybody that shows you signs that they are part of that smear campaign as you move along, cut them off, block their numbers, cut them, block them from all social media platforms, give them absolutely no access to you and what it is that you are doing. Okay. One of the things I've experienced is people follow me on TikTok and other social media platforms. And whenever I post things, there's a lot of laughing emojis. And I mean, you don't come to leave a comment or engage, but you're laughing, right? Because you want me to feel and think that there's nothing of intelligence or nothing that is worthy of substance that's coming out of my mouth when I know better than that. When I know better than that and I know who I am, right? And for many of you, I hope that you have had a history of doing great things before knowing them, right? Because somehow this smear campaign, they think that you're going to think that your life begins with them smearing your name. What about who you were prior to that? What about the things that you have done prior to the smear campaign? What about what you have accomplished that they have the slightest idea about? Those are the things that we're going to rely on and pull from as we pull ourselves forward in triumph with the smear campaign. So, again, I repeat, build in silence, use your social media platforms and any other platform that you have. They are tools to speak out and let your community know what you've been dealing with. Press charges if you have to. That's the reasoning for documenting everything. Organized harassment is illegal, and it is something that people can be sued and charged for. You just have to be able to prove that, and in proving that will be in documenting what they are doing, who's doing what, who's saying what. And remember, in order to make your case strong, you have to ensure that you have separated yourself from these people, and you have to prove that these people are placing themselves you are to come and violate you to any capacity. Press charges if you have to. Build in silence. Position yourself well. Learn what you needed to learn from this hideous movement. There's always a lesson in the chaos. Become a better individual. Teach and be in power. Again, this is Arlene J. Ramsey, CEO and founder of Everyone Let's Talk, also your favorite self wealth mentor. I am also the CEO and founder of Mediators Medium. I am soon to be your favorite civil and family and divorce court mediator. Until next time, peace.